Commercial paper is an unsecured promissory note of fixed denomination to be repaid on a specific date for the specified amount. Commercial papers are normally issued for maturity of 45 days or 90 days and sometimes for a longer term, 180 days and maybe even 270 days, by finance companies and corporations with a very high credit rating, essentially to meet their short-term funding requirements. In some markets, companies with weaker credit rating also issue commercial paper, but usually backed either by a credit enhancement referred to as credit supported commercial paper or by a letter of credit issued by a bank normally referred to as LOC. Most commercial papers are sold in the primary market either directly by the issuer or through the service of intermediaries like investment banks and more recently commercial banks. Although the volume and value of commercial paper sold in the primary market is large and the instrument is widely prevalent, the secondary market is rather small due to the very short-term nature of the instrument and most investors holding it to maturity. In case the investor has an urgent need for liquidity, the investor sells the commercial paper back to the issuer or to the intermediary, i.e. the investment bank or commercial bank from whom it was purchased. Due to the short-term nature of the instrument, commercial paper like treasury bills are sold at a discount, i.e. the purchase price is less than the face value or the maturity value. The bond equivalent yield, which is what is quoted in the markets for commercial paper, is computed as the face value minus the price paid divided by the price paid as a proportion of actual number of days in the year to the term for which the paper was issued. Incidentally, the nuances and the formulae to determine the discount rate of commercial paper as well as the other short-term instruments such as T-bills, certificate of deposits, etc. will be discussed in a subsequent session. The yield on commercial papers, not surprisingly, is almost always 10 to 15 basis points higher than T-bills of identical maturity, primarily because of the higher credit risk of the issuer vis-a-vis T-bills which are issued by the government. The higher credit risk is determined not merely by the credit rating of the issuer at the time the commercial paper was issued, but also by the rollover risk, i.e. the potential inability of the issuer to issue fresh commercial paper in the market to repay the maturing commercial paper. Incidentally, this rollover risk was manifest extremely during the 2008 financial crisis in the United States when collateralized debt obligations, CDOs for short, and special investment vehicles, SIV for short, in particular were impacted because their business model involves investing in mortgage-backed securities on the asset side of the balance sheet, financed by issuing commercial paper on the liability side of the balance sheet, and therefore they were very badly hurt. The situation was further aggravated in the 2008 crisis by the serious liquidity crunch in the US financial system as a whole, which resulted in even well-rated corporates and finance companies not finding buyers for the fresh round of commercial paper which they had to issue to roll over their maturing commercial paper issued in an earlier tranche. This fueled the possibility of the crisis on Wall Street rapidly hurting Main Street as well, and the monetary authority of the country had to create a special window to overcome this potential contagion.